So not only is the Great Pyramid, you know, a power generator, it's the central source for understanding that that those people, our ancestors, knew all about the planets in our solar system. They left another, I guess you would call it, a clue by showing us in the actual construction of that area at Giza that here's your star map down to the astronomical unit, down to the AU. So they knew astrophysics in ancient times. The longitude of the Grand Gallery inside the Great Pyramid is roughly about 30 million meters per second, 299 million, whatever, the number, meters per second. Roughly just rounded off to 300 million meters per second. Okay, so the longitude is 300, let me rephrase that. The longitude is 300 million on the longitude number. So it's 299 million 890, whatever the number is. But that number matches the speed of light, which is roughly about 300 million meters per second. Okay, so if you analyze the fact that meters didn't exist at the time that the Great Pyramid was built, according to mainstream, then you have to say, wait a minute, if meters didn't exist, then how did they know meters per second? How did they figure out to put this at a longitude that matches the speed of light? It's because meters existed long before the Great Pyramid was even built. They discovered some dishes, some pottery, and some stones that had Proto-Sumerian cuneiform mathematics on it. And these Proto-Sumerian cuneiform mathematics were a metric system. So the metric system existed thousands and thousands of years ago. We only rediscovered it now. We literally only rediscovered it. So the fact that the Grand Gallery longitude and the speed of light match is no coincidence. Mainstream says, if you look it up, they say it's just a rare coincidence that it just happens to be that. Not true. Again, more knowledge of now quantum physics, because to understand the speed of light, you need to understand quantum physics. So we have standard physics, we have quantum physics. Thanks again, Pray 7, appreciate you, man. It's really helping us out a lot. You have quantum physics, you have standard physics, you have calculus, you have astrophysics, you have, what else do they have? You have understanding of calendars, you have the understanding of mass. I mean, you have all these things coming together into one structure, and they're trying to tell you that people just stacked up a whole lot of mud and slid some stones up into place. Doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And the fact that they're saying they did it in 20 years is also a farce. They did the pyramid a lot faster than that. They did it a lot faster than that, okay? John Meyer says, how did Yeshua travel to Egypt? On a caravan, probably on camel. I mean, the way people traveled back then, usually by animal. So probably most likely on a camel or a caravan of some type to get to Egypt, but he was there. So you go to Coptic Cairo. Go ahead and get yourself a ticket, fly into Cairo, and then go ahead and hop on a bus or get yourself a taxi. Tell them to take you to Coptic Cairo, where the house of the church where Jesus has the crypt where he lived. They'll take you there. And people come from all over the world every single day to go witness the location where he actually laid his head. Him and his mother lived there. And also it gives you a complete map of where they traveled throughout Egypt as he went there to learn the ancient mysteries, okay? And so, again, something that mainstream Christians don't want to acknowledge or believe, and they damn sure don't want to get their passport stamp and hop on a plane and go prove it to themselves because they want to continue to believe the farce, okay? Anyway, so the Great Pyramid is something else. We're talking about a tomb of knowledge that it just supersedes most of the ancient sites on planet Earth, just because it's a multifunctional stone computer, in my personal opinion. The things it's able to calculate are just incredible. Through the Great Pyramid mathematics and the antechamber and the stones, you can calculate the distance from the Earth to the moon, the distance from the Earth to the sun, You can calculate the speed of the Earth on its own axis, the speed of the Earth around the sun. You can even calculate the speed of the sun around the galaxy and the speed of the Milky Way galaxy around the local cluster. All that is incorporated into the structure of the Great Pyramid. How do you put that much knowledge into one structure? You have to, well, in modern times, take a look at modern times. We would simply take a computer, right? And we would say, okay, it's a CAD, it's a computer-assisted design program. We're going to build this structure. But within this structure, we want this knowledge to be in there. So we want this and we want that. We add all this data into the software program. The software program takes in all this data of everything we wanted to be able to showcase or to be encoded into it, and then it spits out a blueprint. The blueprint is taken, and then from there, people build it, right? But with all this knowledge encoded and hidden into it, okay? When you look at the way the Great Pyramid is built, and especially on the interior with some of the megalithic granite that's inside the king's chamber, you can't even put a human hair between the cracks. No mortar is being used, right? So you have to say to yourself at some point, they had some way to hoist these stones up in the air. And in my opinion, my personal opinion, there's no evidence of this, my personal opinion, they used anti-gravity technology. In some way, they were able to lighten the weight of these stones and move them and maneuver them into place very easily. I believe it was easy. The crazy part is figuring out how they got each stone for interlocking into the exact location it needed to be when they needed it at a very rapid pace. It was almost as if they were manifesting these stones into the location, or in some way using some advanced technology to create the interlocking and to shape these stones to be the exact shape they needed for that exact spot. Like I said, they're all different sizes and shapes. For each one to be put there, you can accidentally put a stone that belongs all the way up here on the left corner and accidentally put it down in the east corner, and guess what? It's not going to fit. It's not going to work. The structure now is not stable. So you can't even finish it because that stone doesn't go in that spot. So they knew exactly where all 2 million blocks were going, and I believe they used anti-gravity technology. Now, when it comes to being stronger, I believe that they potentially could have used some big and stronger men, some of the Nephilim, or some of the sons of daughters, that, the sons of God that made it with the daughters of men. Some big men could have helped move around or maneuver some of the construction. It's very, very possible. We know that there were giants in those days. In the Bible, they call them the Anak, and they say that we were grasshoppers in their eyesight. So we're talking about massive people. Okay, massive people, and I think it was a combination of all of that. When you have a construction site, you have a master architect. The master architect doesn't do the labor. He takes that design and he gives the blueprint to the foreman. The foreman takes that data, right, and breaks it all down and figures out who he needs to put on what and what supplies he needs to create this structure. And then he goes out to the workers and say, boom, you do this, y'all do this, and y'all do that. So the workers actually go out and do the actual labor. So when people say aliens built the pyramid, okay, that's not exactly right. If, let's say that Thoth the Atlantean, he claims to have built the Great Pyramid. He says, build it out of the Great Pyramid, patterned after Earth's force, so that it too might remain through the ages. He's saying he built the Great Pyramid, not Khufu. I think that Khufu just took what was already there and tried to put his name on it so he can get, so he can get some clout chasing. A lot of the pharaohs were clout chasers. You can learn this when you study Egyptian history and archaeology. You discover that they stole things. They'll steal your tomb, put their name on the tomb. They'll steal your temple, put their name on the temple. I think that Khufu stole the Great Pyramid, put his name on it, and said, yeah, I built this. No, he didn't build a damn thing. He inherited what was already there. Did they do repairs to it and have workers working on it? Yes. The evidence of those workers working on it are right there. But did his people build it? No. This was built in ancient times. Combination of advanced beings, if you don't want to call them aliens, passing down knowledge and teaching to people that actually did the labor. So did aliens build the pyramids? I think it's a combination of an understanding of both. the master blueprint, in my opinion, came from the Natiru. The Natiru are the knitters of ancient Egypt, and it goes back to becoming the Anunnaki or the Anuna, which is the original name. These advanced beings that turned mud into a kingdom at the time of Zep-Tepi, according to ancient texts. And they gave this knowledge to the people, and the people did the work. Okay, so it's a taught technique. Information was taught, most likely to selected individuals that they felt had the capability of not only learning, but also retaining the knowledge and keeping it sacred. Okay? The Great Pyramid Grand Gallery. So, not the Grand Gallery, the Grand Gallery too. The Grand Gallery leading up into the King's Chamber. As you're getting higher up the Grand Gallery, the air does get kind of stale and the flow does seem to stop, which it's supposed to, because the Grand Gallery leading up into the Great Pyramid, into the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid, is actually going into a fusion chamber. So you don't want a lot of air coming in and, destroying your energy in there. But a lot of these places that we go to, I'm telling you right now, the flow underground is just incredible. How they were able to do this, nobody exactly knows. There is a treasure of knowledge. You have the Hall of Records, and you also have something else hidden deep beneath the Great Sphinx. Deep beneath, they found a space about a mile deep underneath the Great Sphinx. So there's something down there. Thoth talks about in the Emerald Tablets the fact that he hid a ship, a sky ship, underneath the Sphinx's paw, deep beneath the Sphinx, he says. And he says, far in the future, there will come an enemy from the deep. And he says, he that can release my ship will defeat them with ease. That's in the Emerald Tablets. And it's incredible stuff. Just incredible stuff, all right? Count Quick Empire. I'm glad you brought this up, because I've been forgetting to bring it up. So, guys and gals, there are pages cloning my voice with the cloning, the AI cloning software, which it's so crazy that anyone can do this now. Anybody can clone your voice. If they can get about 15 minutes of you talking online, they can just download that into this AI software, clone your voice, and then put it in any kind of format they want by typing in words and having your voice read it. Thank you, Count Quick Empire, for recognizing that it's fake. There are about right now, maybe 10 large accounts out there. They built up huge accounts using clips of me from podcasts that I've been in, but my mouth does not match the words. And they have me saying the most outlandish garbage they got me talking about, we found an Anunnaki alive in a cave, or stupid stuff like, when you dream, you can't see your cell phone and your laptop. Or, as I talked before, I talked about the fact that scams are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Crime is going to get bigger and bigger because of AI and robotics. Why? Because AI and automation and robotics is coming to take all of your jobs. Okay? 70% of the jobs wiped out within 10 years, gone. And as jobs disappear, people are going to become desperate. If they can't find another way to make money legitimately, the next level is survival mode. And when the person goes into survival mode, it's time to go into scam mode. And that's when they're going to start coming up with all kind of ingenious ideas, stuff you wouldn't even think could possibly exist. They're going to find so many ways to try to take your money. So crime is going to shoot up on the same spike that AI and robotics shoot up. You're going to see the crime soar as AI and robotics soar, because people are going to be poor. As crime soar, as AI soars, crime soars because people are poor. Okay? It rhymes. That's exactly what's going to happen. And the crime rate is going to go through the roof globally. Global crime is going to be so incredible. It's going to be mind-boggling how much crime is going to be happening. Cyber crime, right? Virtual crime, digital crime, but also physical crime, right? So it's going to be a combination of both. A combination of both. So that's where it's going. Until they give some type of universal income, crime is going to go crazy as AI increases and as robotics increase and people lose their jobs. Because if a single mom or dad who's got a family has people at home that are relying on him to eat and to keep that roof over their head, he or she gonna do whatever the hell they gotta do to make it happen. Period. You know, so they better come up with this universal income real quick, because it's about to get real crazy out there. Real crazy. I mean, as this AI goes up, it's got some great, AI has a lot of great applications, and so do robotics and automation. But man, the way they're pushing it out so fast is hurting. It's going to hurt a lot of people before it gets better. A lot of people are going to be severely, mentally, physically, and financially injured before it gets any better. I'm talking millions of people are going to get screwed bad. So it's a really sad evolution that we're going through right now with this technology thing. They released it with no oversight, and they're releasing it too fast with no solution for the working man. It's okay to release it this fast if you have a solution for the working man, but with no solution for the working man, and you have no president candidate talking about this, saying what they're going to do for this, because it's even out of their control, because it's really controlled by the multi-billionaires that are behind the scenes and the three-letter agencies behind the scenes that control the whole show and run the whole world. Presidents don't do a damn thing. They're puppets. They're only allowed to enrich themselves by pimping the people. Outside of that, they can't even control the states. I'm getting ready to do a whole video on this, the Electoral College scam that we're under, and how it's scamming the population of the United States into making you think that your vote has some power for the presidential election. Your vote has power for local elections, but the presidential election, zero.